The finished comic is on August 9th, and what the fuck is all this? Oh god. Do I really have to read all of this? I don't want to. Man, this is Star Wars Mega-Chan shit. Previously on Sonichu. Wait a minute. Previously on Sonichu. So your recap. The moment has arrived. What's that? What? That just happened. How can you recap what literally just happened in the last fucking issue? Seriously, the last part of the issue is like, oh, look at this, we got out of time void. It's just so token and no trouble at all. They just pull this fat fuck out of the time void. And he's out. So this first page means fucking nothing. But the real gem happens on page number 2. So they get out of time void, they cut the rope. Chris just stares blankly at nothing right here while they cut the vines. God, dude. Has anyone ever heard of the sound effect of cut vines? Just would like to know. What about teleport? See, this is what happens when you're fucking lazy. Instead of, actually drawing the action, you write it. Oh, I love this because if you can look right here, this little thing right there, if you just add lines, boom, right here, that would have solved everything. But the real gem, like I said, starts on a below panel. Chris goes on to say, so anyway, I traveled to the year 2015 because Back to the Future. It looks about the same state as now. Really? No changes? You didn't even play with that? You're not gonna play around with it? It doesn't. You're not gonna say some cliche like it looks so high tech and futuristic because it's the future, and that's what people think the future really is. It's just high tech and futuristic. But I actually commend Chris for that because maybe the future might just look the same. There's not flying cars everywhere. No one has these cure-all pills that they take for everything. Not every disease is cured or whatever. Maybe the future is just the fucking same. Maybe it just is. Anyways, he said he took part in a medical study. While I was there, I met lovely wet. Okay, wait a minute. Let me read the rest of this. Yep, he's just gonna ramble about nothing. So, anyways, lovely weather is just some boring ass love interest for Chris. He literally writes it right here. She was married to my future self. Chris actually thinks that he's going to marry a woman named Lovely Weather in the future. I'm not making this up. He actually thought for a while that there was some woman out there who was going to have a biological daughter with named Lovely Weather. Why this very specific name? Chris. His grasp of reality isn't the best thing, as we've seen with Sonichu. The real gem was back there on page 2. But the absolute masterful piece of writing happens on page 3. And I'm not going to be reading all of this, just so you know, because I can only justify all of this. All I need to do is just read this first top paragraph. Anyways, as for this medical study, and this will require your aid, Magi-chan. Magi-chan's all-knowing and omnipotent. Why? Because Chris did not give him a specific limit on his power, so Magi-chan can literally do whatever he feels like it. In June of 2015, the scientists have found a gene-like molecule. You with me so far, right? Audience, I just want to stop right here to make sure we're all in tune with each other. Everyone okay? Tell me, anyone okay? I know you can't hear me, but I just want you to yell at this computer screen. That's I can hear you at the computer screen. You alright? Everyone's good? Okay, keep reading. So scientists found a gene-like molecule which makes a person turn homosexual. I'm not going to dignify anything until I get finished reading it. They needed a volunteer's untainted straight blood to get a pure version of the molecule to generate a vaccine. I just want to take a break right now to tell you that Chris has no fucking idea how vaccines work. Then I entered. I gave them a bit of my blood. 1 week later, the first batch of 10 syringes. These high-tech, futuristic 2015 scientists can only make 10 fucking syringes of one batch of blood. Either I don't think Chris knows what a batch is, or he was an asshole and just gave them very little blood, even though he knew his blood was going to cure this fucking thing. I was the first one, after they did their successful test on the vaccine, to receive the... Fuck this type of writing. I hate it. This is the first time I read it, and I hate it now. Their successful test of the vaccine, comma, to receive the vaccine, comma. That is such a fucked up, beyond belief sentence. I don't know what it is. So I would never have to worry of ever becoming one of them. So Chris was given the vaccine even though his blood was supposedly immune to this, because it was used as a vaccine. So why would he need a vaccine if his blood can be untainted by it? Going on. I too agreed the syringes with me before I left, so I can turn Relnak back to Nate Sir. Oh yeah, Relnak was originally supposed to be Christian backwards, his evil self, who became eviler, I guess. I have the understanding of Kel worrying. Oh yeah, they weren't a thing. I'm not gonna act like they were a thing. They were not a thing until now. I've been reading this comic for years, only because I wanted to read it. I don't know, just so I have something to riff on. I don't know, maybe I'm bored. But honestly, it's never been a plot point that these two were together at all. It's just randomly, because this is Chris, he just randomly threw him into a relationship. Because again, that's Chris. But let me take a sip of this Fanta. Oh yeah, and it's orange, by the way. Okay, back to the meat of this. I just got finished telling you that Chris has no fucking grasp on medicine or science. So basically what a vaccine is it's just a weakened version of the virus that it's supposed to be curing. This weakened version is not lethal in any sort of way. In fact, you probably can't even get anything from it. It can make you mildly sick. This is the reason why people say, oh, well, you might exemplify flu-like symptoms, once we give you this in like maybe a couple of hours or whatever. That's only because it is a weakened version of the flu. It's not powerful enough to actually make you definitively sick from the vaccine, or at least, for most people it shouldn't be that powerful to do that. I have heard reports that the vaccine does make people very sick. In fact, it actually, the whole consensus to vaccines that they're trying to inject us with the virus to kill us or whatever, blah blah blah, because there are cases where I understand that vaccines do actually cause the viruses to be curing. But the definitive right about this is that it's just a weakened version of the virus. So, by Chris's own logic, because he doesn't understand his own logic, he's just saying this because he hates gay people. That's all it is. Remember, this is Chris back in the early 2000s. He really just hated gay people and hated all sorts of other things because Chris was Chris. This is probably the most naive Chris will ever be in his life. Anyways, in order for this to work, Chris would actually have to be gay himself. Not only that, he'd actually have the specific gay gene himself to have it in his bloodstream. So he says, I volunteered to have my untainted straight blood. That wouldn't fucking do anything. It would just be you injecting your own blood into people, which would cause more problems than what it should. Because, the reason why people have, there's a reason why people ask for your blood type, because you can't just go injecting someone else's blood into someone else without knowing their blood type. If the blood type is compatible, then that works. But you might have a different blood type, and since they're going around injecting your straight, untainted, holy, fucking straight blood or whatever this shit is, everywhere, then that might cause more problems than what it should have. So going on to the next page, We just see Chris touching Magic-Chan's hand in a very uncomfortable way, sending out a wave to everyone. So Magic-Chan now is in a universal microphone. He tells Allison and... oh, fuck off. Billy Mays, that's exactly who this is. That's exactly who that is, Billy Mays. He tells him to quick Sonichu, which is Chris's transforming giant robot thingamaffucker, with PlayStation 3 and Guitar Hero software for some strange reason, and meet him at the 4th Cent Garbage Building. He tells Patty-chan to get the S-Chew balls, chaotic crystals, whatever the fuck these things are. Let's just call them chaos emeralds. That's exactly what they are anyway. He tells them to get them and put them on his desk. And here's the funny part. He didn't tell Sonichu and Rosachu. Well, okay, no. He tells Sonichu, because Rosachu's fucking useless, to stop by the mall and pick up the chaotic crystals. So let's go back one panel. He tells this hoe to get the balls ready. He didn't tell Sonichu to go get them. If she's already there, and she already has the S-Chew balls, why not tell her to take them to the goddamn 4th Cent Garbage Building instead of wasting Sonichu's time? He could be fucking Rosachu. And then he just tells Blake and Punchy to show up there too. Just show up. Because it wouldn't be a band without you. Oh, and Lord, and a band it will be. Then he goes, of course, we'll need you there too, Wild, our bassist. Oh, yeah! And then Magic-Chan does something. He teleports away with the ball, I guess. Yeah, Chris gave him a ball. I'm not sure. I think that was an S-Chew ball. I'm not sure. I forgot all this dumb shit already, dude. Electric Hedgehog Tower, he transforms, and then he says the exact same fucking thing he said earlier in the last part of the last issue. We're gonna rock that house down. And that's the plan. Y'all will meet up with me in Tennessee. Again, the same thing. 2:30 Eastern. I have my to-do list to check off. Hasta luego. Good luck, Christian. And then we get our title card to this episode. Director Amenities.